and welcome to the Unhinged Vibes Podcast After Hours Edition. Now, it is late when we are recording. My house is asleep. I don't know about your house. Is your house asleep?
Ali is into the end of his semester, so he is up and about. I have a feeling he's not going to sleep for a long time.
Okay, that's totally fair. But welcome to the Unhinged Vibes Podcast. This is going to be a very special episode because we are going to be reviewing two TV series today. We are reviewing two. We're going to review episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett and episode 6 of Peacemaker. Now, who am I here with?
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Coastal, aka Coast Dynasty, aka the Coast Face Killer.
Beautiful. And you're here with Mr. Caramel Thunder himself, Caramel with 2 L's. So like I said earlier, this is going to be a good episode because we're going to be reviewing both episode 6 of the two series that we're actually really involved with right now. So I'm actually really liking these two. How are you feeling about these two series so far?
Absolutely, me too. I've been pumped. I've been really excited about these shows coming up, going into them when they first started. My only regret is that we're on episode 6 and this is the first time we're doing this. I wish that this was the 6th time we were doing this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with the new year and sort of how everything kind of lined up, we didn't get a chance to do this, and then we sort of folded this into the stack, and then it sort of turned our stack episodes into really long episodes.
Oh yeah.
We had a lot to say about these shows, so we thought, you know what? Let's parse this out and make it its own standalone thing, because that was one of the things about the stack, is that we thought we'd do quick tidbits, and then if it deserved a little bit more of a deeper dive and a little bit more exploration, that we would do that. And these two shows absolutely deserve that deeper dive from the two of us, because they've been both fantastic.
100%. I agree with everything that you said. These shows really do deserve their own review episodes, and I'm glad that we're actually finally going to be doing it now. For future episodes, for other TV series that we have planned, we're going to be doing their own individual show as well, because they are going to deserve it, and they're going to need it. Oh yeah. So yeah. But anyways, man, how you doing today?
Doing good. I'm excited. I just finished watching. I'm hot off the heels of watching episode 6 of Peacemaker. So I have Myrn after reading fresh in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta put that on the back burner for a little bit while we talk about episode 6 of Book of Boba Fett. But yeah, I'm still coming off the high of that ending, man. And speaking of endings, it should go without saying for everybody, there is a spoiler warning. We are going into a deep dive into both of these shows, so please, if you don't want any spoilers, we are going to be discussing episode 6 for both these shows, and we are going to be spoiling the endings and as well as any of the developments that happened during this show, and consequently anything that happened prior to these shows. So yeah, be warned.
Okay, so starting off with the Book of Boba Fett, or how I like to say, the Book of the Mando. Let's just be honest here. These last 2 episodes have been nothing but glorious Mando episodes. And to be honest, like, even Boba made a guest appearance, essentially, if you think about it. Like, let's be real here.
Yeah, he was in this episode significantly more than he was in last week's episode.
Yep.
And in this episode, he had no lines and was in one scene. So, it has been... The Book of Boba Fett has been noticeably Boba Fettless for the last 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Which, it's weird because I've liked the show, but its best 2 episodes, I think, in my opinion, have been the ones that haven't really had him in it. So that's already immediately kind of weird that way. Yeah. But yeah, he has not been the focal point at all in the last 2 weeks.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think we'll find out with the season finale coming up next week. So I think we'll find out if that is a good thing or a bad thing. But for this episode, what were your initial thoughts? What was a positive and what was a negative from this episode?
So again, I love Mando. That's sort of the lead into this to Book of Boba Fett. I myself was not very connected to Boba Fett earlier. Like, I'm like you in that I have more of a connection to the original trilogy. I know it's blasphemy to some of the people who are my age for me to say that I enjoyed the episodes 1, 2, 3 more than I did 4, 5, and 6 because I was already older when I had seen 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't really resonate with me. And Boba Fett was one of them. I'd heard the legend of Boba Fett for years about how cool of a badass character this guy was. And he kind of fell flat for me. So I did enjoy Tamira Morrison in episodes 1, 2, and 3 as Jango Fett. So that's what sort of made me excited about this show. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. We were asking what did I like about this episode?
Oh, that's all good, man. You do you.
Mando, and hey, anytime we can see Baby Yoda, anytime we can see Grogu, he's always a highlight. What I didn't like about this episode, I don't know if I'm sold yet on Luke, on having sort of, I've still got a little bit of that uncanny valley where it's like when he shows up, I don't see him as a character. I see they're deep baking.
Yep.
They're deep baking, old Mark Hamill. And, and I'm always, instead of sort of being immersed in the character and immersed in the show, I start looking to see, how good are they doing this, right? Like how well are they hiding that this is not Mark Hamill, right? This is not an actor, that they're using sort of AI, and they're using sort of special effects to layer a real person, this younger version of themselves onto a body double, and it kind of takes me away a little bit. So that's I don't know if that's a me thing or if that's a show thing, but it does. Anytime I do see him after the initial shock of the first time we saw him, it's kind of, it takes away a little bit for me, at least. Okay. What about yourself?
So overall, I really like the episode. I think that it was nice to see everybody again. It was nice to see Ahsoka. It was nice to see Grogu. It's nice to see the Marshal. Seeing the town again. Seeing the remains of the crate dragon. Seeing all that stuff. So I think that was very nice to see all that.
There. Yeah.
The positive was I got to see my favorite bounty hunter again, which was Cad Bane.
Yep.
If you don't know who Cad Bane is, he was introduced in Star Wars, The Clone Wars. And then from there, he essentially grew into his own character. He is one of the bounty hunters, just like Boba Fett, who could go toe-to-toe with a Force user and come out on top. He was also on, Star Wars The Bad Batch as well, with Fennec Shan in that series. And now this is his first ever live action appearance. And overall, I instantly knew who he was the second I saw the shadow, because I saw the outline. I was like, no one else that I know of is that skinny and wears a cowboy hat like that. And then when he got closer, I was just like, yep, nope, this is Cad Bane. It has to be him. And then the second you saw his breathing apparatus and his blue chin, I was like, oh, this is it. This is awesome. So my heart went like overboard. I'm like, this is amazing. He's like my favorite bounty hunter, more than like any other bounty hunter that's in Star Wars right now, because I know a lot about him, and he's fought with Obi-Wan. He's fought against Obi-Wan. He's awesome. Absolutely awesome. The down is, I would have to agree with you, is the Luke thing. Only reason is because, like, out of all the characters in this show, Luke throws me off because he came from the movies. He's this larger than life character, this and that. All these other characters, they grew from TV series. In my opinion.
All right, that's
and like
fair.
I can connect with them more because I've had more screen time with them. Where with Luke, essentially each movie's max 2 hours, right? So and plus the new movies, I would have like maybe a total of 8 hours of screen time with Luke.
Yeah, and he's the iconic character.
He's the iconic character, 100%. But he's not my iconic character because I didn't grow up with him.
No,
right?
And I think a good allegory for it is Alejandro or Ali's basketball season is underway. It would be like we were watching a high school basketball team, and then all of a sudden they plunk Michael Jordan in.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, awesome for the first time, and then after that you're kind of like, hey, does he really belong here?
Right, exactly. That's how I felt. I'm like, does he really belong here? it's like you said, the whole
Almost like a little
deepfake
too
thing.
much star power. Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
very
uncanny
much, right?
valley
It's a
thing.
little too much star power. It's also like all the other characters I grew up with from TV
Mhm.
shows, and I've technically got more screen time with them,
Okay.
essentially, right? So it's
Yeah.
just like I know them more than I know Luke, even though
Right.
I don't know. It's just also like Luke was never really my guy. Let's be honest
Okay.
here. Luke was never really my guy. I was a prequels guy, 100%. I was always a prequels guy. I was never the original series guy, but it's just, I don't know. It's Mark Hamill in general. I love the guy. Ooh,
Yeah.
he's amazing. But him as Luke, I don't know. It's lukewarm for me, pun intended. Seriously. But it's just like, I don't know. It's maybe too much star power. I don't really know. But we'll
There's
see.
something, right? Like there's a hard to explain sort of where it doesn't quite feel 100% right.
Yeah.
When you see him on screen.
But
some of
the
it feels
thing
like,
with his face is much better than before. You have to admit, like,
yep, it does.
much better than before.
I had read somewhere that there is somebody on YouTube who did a cleanup.
yeah, and
of
then
the
they hired
original.
him. And
They hired him, which hey,
good for him.
good on
Hell
good
yeah.
on both, right?
Hell
good on the
yeah.
guy who got hired, and good on them to say, hey, you know what? This guy did it better than us for no money, so let's throw
Yeah.
him some money and see what he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something there. I don't know. Like, it's good for me. It's good to hear that you feel sort of the same way about that, because I'm watching it and I almost feel a little sacrilegious saying that, because it's like, man, it's Luke,
Yeah.
right? It's the guy, and I don't know. It's good to hear that. It would be interesting to hear what Noslin thinks about this,
Yeah.
because he is more of a
Original.
trilogy versus prequel.
Okay.
Whereas the two of us aren't, right? So
Yeah.
he has probably been a bit more of a connection to Luke, and probably is a little more warm to the idea, or maybe he's even harsher about it because he's closer to it.
Yeah.
But no, it'd be interesting to hear. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear a lot of people's thoughts on this, because yeah, it was something that just kind of threw things off for me a little bit.
Okay. Okay. Now let's dive into the episode a little bit. Now it's
Okay.
nice to see that we got to see the N1 fighter kind of like be in space, do its thing, whatever else, right?
Yeah.
The
see it in
planet,
action.
yeah, the planet that they're on was actually really nice. I forget the name of the planet, but it's the planet where Luke builds his Jedi Academy that I believe we
Yes.
see in episode 7 or 8.
I don't think that's the same planet. I mean, I don't know. I didn't read on it. For me, it wouldn't make sense for that to be the same planet, because they had so much trouble finding him before.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Why
Yeah,
would
'cause
why would that not be the first place they checked?
Well, here's the thing, because with R2, they couldn't find him because R2 lost some of the data,
Fair enough.
right?
Fair enough.
So maybe
yeah.
that's why.
Hey,
But
yeah.
it's also like when they were talking, when Ahsoka was saying like this is this is going to be his new school
Yeah.
to teach.
Oh no, I'm not
younglings.
saying that that's not where what I'm saying is, I don't know if the planet where he built his first school is the same planet where they found him on
okay.
episode 7.
Okay.
Just because why would
Oh no, that's totally different. That's
Yeah, okay.
like the one I'm talking about is the flashback with Kylo Ren.
Right. Okay.
That's
so yeah,
the school.
that's where we got our wires
That's the
crossed.
school,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
and it's also like it's nice to see when he first gets there. You see Ahsoka pop up. Oh no, you see
Yeah.
R2 pop up, and then R2 just tells him to follow. And it's nice to see that Din Djarin knows how R2 language. That's joy. It's just it's like okay, cool. Follows along.
Yeah.
At first, when you saw that rock come up, did you think it was Grogu?
Yes, I did.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then you see the legs pop. I'm like, oh, it's a like a spider walker droid kind of thing.
Robot ants.
Yeah.
Robot ants building a school.
I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought that
no,
was,
those things were really cool, and it sort of explains how you can build those giant monolithic structures that they did. Right? It's okay. Yeah. It wasn't Luke force moving rocks one by one.
It'd be cool to see him do that though.
It would be.
It would be cool.
It would be, absolutely.
Yeah. It was also nice to see that I don't know if R2 told those droids to build him a bench, but a bench was built, and he literally just sat there until Ahsoka came up.
Well, and I love that because there was a big hint towards too, where it's like, you're going to be waiting a bit.
They're training. It's going to be all day, so enjoy your spot.
We'll build you a bench and get you comfortable, because you're going to need to be comfortable for a little bit here.
Yeah. What did you think about seeing Ahsoka again?
So I don't have quite the connection to Ahsoka that you do. I when I saw her, I was like, oh, cool, Ahsoka's back,
Mhm.
right? But I was actually, as we talked about before, I was actually more excited to see Cobb Vanth again because I
Yep.
really like that character.
Okay.
I was a big fan of him as the sheriff. Like, remember the first time we saw him, he did have that Boba armor.
Yep.
Right, he's the sheriff of the now newly christened Freetown.
Yep.
Right, and no, I just really liked him as a character, and I hope he's not dead. He got shot. He got shot in the shoulder.
If you watch the show with subtitles,
Yeah.
it says that there's something wrong with him. They don't say he's dead.
Yeah.
They say that there's something wrong with him, which means I'm
Yeah.
assuming he's still going to be alive.
Yeah, well,
Because they're putting like med packs on him and this and that.
Yeah,
so.
well, there's the get the stim packs and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah,
No.
I mean, get the stim packs isn't something you say to a guy who's immediately dead, right?
100%.
So,
100%.
Yeah.
Did you catch the line, like when Mando was like, "Oh, why are you here?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm an old
friend of the family.
Yeah, I'm friend of the family."
Yeah,
I'm like,
I heard that.
When I heard that, I'm
like,
like, "Oh, that is awesome."
yeah.
For those who don't know, Ahsoka was the Padawan of Anakin during the Clone Wars until they had until the Jedi Order kind of turned their back on her, and then she proved them wrong, and then the Jedi was like, "Oh, we're sorry, but that was actually your Jedi trial to become an actual Jedi," and then she denied it, and then they went their own ways. So essentially, yeah, if you don't know who Ahsoka is, Ahsoka was supposed to be mentored by Obi-Wan, but then passed on to Anakin because they had the same kind of style and flair and kind of like just go and get it done attitude.
Yeah.
And then from there, they grew as best friends. And yeah, if you've watched all the TV series, you know where the relationship ends up at, and it's a heartbreak. So like seeing this, it's just like it's awesome. It's so awesome. I absolutely love it when I see her on screen, and even though it's not the same actor playing her, it's just amazing seeing like all the nitpicks. Yeah,
that wasn't Rosario Dawson.
Oh, and it was her,
Oh,
but
no.
on the TV
It's not the same
series,
voice.
it's some other girl playing
Okay.
her. So, but yeah, it's absolutely awesome seeing her there.
Yeah.
Now moving on to the training scene, the first training
Yeah.
scene that we see.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that training scene? Like, how did you feel about the whole frog thing, all that
I
stuff?
thought it was cool. I
Yeah.
thought it was cool because it was sort of the teacher explaining, like, it's that I have this a lot as the father of a teenager,
Mhm.
where you got to preach constantly, patience, trust the process, and it's going to be more advantageous because you see him and he's immediately, he wants that one thing. He wants it right now. He wants the frog. And then, Luke sort of chides him, gets him to concentrate and work on your studies, and then effortlessly kind of lifts his hand, and you can get all of the frogs. You just have to concentrate, be patient. Youth is wasted on the young, unfortunately, and we see this all the time. And that's what hit home for me when I saw that, because it was like, it's funny because I get some of that now because Ali is older now, and he is a little bit more. He is maturing, and he's sort of developing his sort of active listening skills, and he's always been a good listener to anyone but me. So, but then you'll hear him and he'll talk about stuff like, his coach taught him, how important the minutia of footwork is in basketball, and it's like, man, I've been fucking telling you this since you were 8 years old and you didn't want to listen to me, but you know what? As long as you're listening to somebody about it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm seeing that, like, just the headstrongness of youth, and then just to show the experience of, like, this is what you're capable of. This is what I'm teaching you to become. So, trust the process. #TTP, man. Let's go. Right. So, that's my personal sort of look. That was actually the one that hit home hardest. That one scene hit home hardest for me because of that. What about yourself? What did you think of that opening training scene?
I thought it was really cool. I thought it was also really nice to see the flashback between him and Yoda training, with him and Grogu training.
Okay.
It was very nice to see that parallel. Essentially, it's just literally him passing the torch to someone new, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that really surprised me was that I believe this is canon. I believe that Yoda was the only one of his kind to speak like that in riddles.
Oh,
He was
okay.
apparently he was the only one of his kind to speak like that in riddles. So
Hmm.
when like Luke was saying like, oh, like he's trying to probe him for questions about his people and this and that and what he remembers and the fact that he doesn't remember what's going on, even though he's like what 50 years old or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean that's a baby in those like
Oh yeah,
50,
right.
50 versus how old was Yoda when he
Yoda was like
passed?
I think
1200 or something.
900 something, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe. Yeah, like
sure.
nine something. Yeah, he's pushing 1,000.
Yeah,
But
stupid Warhammer has just thrown off both of
oh
our
yeah,
aspects of time where 40,000 years is a reasonable
it's
timeline.
like
So,
yeah.
yeah.
But I thought it was actually really cool that we got to see a flashback scene for Grogu.
Oh, that was heartbreaking, right? To see that he was,
Yeah,
that's why he's the way, because of Order 66,
yeah.
right? Strikes again.
I had the feeling he was an Order 66 baby, but I also
Mhm.
I'm very curious on who saved him. Right? So
Yeah.
he had the flashback, I believe, of I forget who it was, but it looks like he was being protected as best of his ability by
Mhm.
3 Jedi, and they unfortunately got mowed down by the clones,
Yeah.
by the 501st, and right at the very end, before the flashback cutout, you see them see Grogu, and they start running to him, and then it ends. I was
Yeah.
like, just give us 15 more seconds. Just 15 more seconds of that flashback. Pretty please. I guarantee you we're going to see the rest of that flashback on the season finale. But it's like, it's so nice to get background information on Grogu.
I was gonna ask you about that because you're a lot more familiar with because you've watched the Clone Wars
Mhm.
and I got into it a little bit and then it just sort of fell off like
Okay.
most things do, right? Is there any significance to that unit that mowed down those Jedis?
So that unit is called the 501st. So essentially the 501st is the
That
unit.
Commander Cody's unit?
No, that
Okay.
Commander Cody's unit is the unit that follows Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay.
The 501st is actually the unit that has followed and served with Anakin the whole
Ah,
Clone Wars. And
okay.
so at a certain point, they start to distinguish themselves as blue, and their commander, our ranking commander, is Commander Rex, which is my favorite clone commander.
Oh, okay.
So-
I've heard that name.
Yeah, so the 501st is the most famous clone, I guess, I think Clone Legion. I
Sure,
say
we'll use
Legion
Legion.
because that's the 40K term, right?
Yeah.
They refer to themselves as Legion. So they are the most famous Legion or squad in Star Wars because they are the ones that started with Anakin
Mhm.
and they ended with Anakin
Okay.
or ended with Darth Vader,
right.
right? So they are his literally right hand.
Okay.
So they are the best of the best. They are absolutely amazing. Like these guys are the cream of the crop for clone troopers,
Okay.
and they knew that. They've been to like every single battlefield. They've won countless battles. So essentially, like the 501st is one of the most famous clone legions out there, and you can tell because they distinguish themselves with blue markings, and they're the ones who sacked and destroyed the Jedi Temple. They're the ones who killed all the Jedis in that temple and the Padawans or whatever else. I think, well, Anakin killed all the Padawans, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the ones who dealt that big blow to the Jedi.
Okay. So they are there is a significance to that group.
Very much. Yeah.
Okay.
And like you, like I'm going to tell you right now, the best episodes in Star Wars The Clone Wars are the ones where it's just the 501st. And
Okay.
it's because it's weird because you think with an army of clones, like there's no identity, there's no nothing, but you get to learn that the clones in general, not just the 501st, they find ways to identify themselves, they find ways to express themselves. You really get to learn about their brotherhood, about how deep their love is for one another, and how they would do anything for each other, and how they would do anything for the Jedi.
Okay.
And it's some of the stories are heartbreaking, some of them are amazing. It's just like, if you're gonna watch the Star Wars Clone Wars, ignore the first 2 seasons. Ignore the
See,
first 2
that's-
seasons.
Ah,
Yeah.
should have told me that. I believe I'm halfway through season 2, and that's when I sort
Yeah.
of stopped off.
Ignore
So
the
I'm-
first 2 seasons. There's some storylines in there that you might want to watch, but I would say just ignore them and start off on season 3 Because season 3, that's when they get more budget. 2, that's when the animation actually gets a lot better. The voice acting gets a lot better. They really care about the story of each character, and it's not focusing on the war. So I honestly, if you really want to know these characters, start off with season 3, go all the way on until you watch Bad Batch. Then from there, you're fine. You don't really have to watch all the other TV series if you don't want to, but like to get to know some of these characters, oh my gosh, dude, like their stories are better than the movies. Way better than the movies.
So they did have the right person direct, because you know how they have different people directing each episode.
Yeah,
they had Dave Filoni direct this episode.
He was the perfect guy. Why? Because all these characters, essentially, he knows them. He made them.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. So it was perfect for him to direct this episode. But yeah, seeing that flashback was absolutely awesome. I know the names of those 3 Jedi that were like fighting against those clones, the 501st, but I just totally forget who they are right now.
I've got to remember I've got to see the picture, because if they were ones from the, if they were in the prequel, if they were part of the Jedi Council that would show up, I also know their names, because like we've talked about before, I was all in on episode 1, like to a point where I played the Magic the Gathering version of episode 1. Like I played Young Jedi, which was a collectible card game based only on episode 1. So
I guarantee you know them. I guarantee you know them.
Okay.
They're just not coming up right now. But moving on from there, we go from, let's see here. He gives Ahsoka the present.
Yep.
And he now has to decide, am I going to give this to him and make his attachment to me worse?
Yeah.
Or do I just give this to Ahsoka and walk away?
That was
what did you think about that? What do you think about that?
That's a tough choice. And Ahsoka framed it in the way that made it sort of, as a parent, you know this as, it made it the hard but the easy choice, right? In that it's clear what's best for the child, but you know that it's going to absolutely crush you. So it's an easy choice, but holy shit, does it hurt to do it? So that's what I thought, because Ahsoka said, like, you know, he's trying to. I love the line where he says, like, you know, it's as a
as
what
a
do they call it?
Youngling?
Yeah, not a youngling. What was the Mandalorian term for an orphan again?
A foundling.
Yeah. As a found, you know, it's his birthright as a foundling, or it's his right as a foundling to have this. And then she says, well, what if he's a Padawan? And it's like, oh.
And in my head, I'm like, why can't he be both?
Well, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Because I immediately got the why not both meme in my head. You know, the taco, the old taco commercial. But and she framed it in a way that was like, well, she's right.
Yeah.
So, and he made the right call. So good on him. And yeah, that's one of those ones where it's like, it's an easy decision that doesn't make it that is incredibly hard. Right. So
now, following up that question with the other decision that was made or going to be made, in at least the next episode, how did you feel about Luke giving Grogu the ultimatum?
I mean, Luke's the teacher.
The Mandalorian armor or Yoda's lightsaber?
I think he's just being pragmatic, like Jedi tend to be, right? It's just Jedi have to shed all emotional attachment, and so you can't be both. You can't wear Daddy's Mandalorian Beskar steel and properly wield Yoda's lightsaber at the same time. So, what a shitty decision to give a kid, but he's not wrong. So that's what I thought, at least. Makes for some very interesting television going forward, for sure. What did you think? And then maybe we'll get to the actual question as to what choice do you think Grogu's gonna make?
So in my opinion, when I saw that, was like, okay, so you're telling me he can't wear Mandalorian armor?
I don't think
because
it's so
of the
much
attachment. Because of the attachment.
That's what I think it is.
Because of the attachment, and also be a Jedi at the same time. So like at
Yeah.
first I was like, well, hold up, Mandalore was a Mandalorian Jedi who wore
Yeah.
armor. That
Yeah.
armor is technically attachment to his old life, but he still became a Jedi. So I'm like, if he was allowed, also it was the old time, so it's of course it's gonna be totally different. But it's also like Grogu's gonna live for like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Let him. If I was Luke,
Mhm.
but I know like Luke made the right decision on giving him a choice. But
Yeah.
for me, it's just like let Grogu live out his life with Mando, because we all know he's gonna outlive Mando.
Mhm.
And when that time comes, he can always come back to Luke or whoever else and start training.
Uh,
That was
I-
that was my initial thought. But I'm like,
yeah.
we know that can't happen because it needs to be a now decision. This is
Yeah.
this is not a you can do this now and then this later. This is an either or kind of pick. But like
Yeah.
the guilty part of me was like, this Mando is his dad. He saved
Yeah,
him.
exactly.
He raised him essentially.
Yeah.
There's a
It's-
spot on his ship for him. For goodness
Yeah.
sake, for foreshadowing. Like,
Yeah.
let's be real here.
His armor is imprinted with the time that Grogu saved him,
Yes.
right?
There's a closer, in my opinion, there's a closer bond between those two than I think Obi-Wan and Anakin had.
Yeah, there's a significant because he saved them, and it's not so much that it's Mandalorian armor, right? It's the armor that Din Djarin specifically is giving Grogu, because I mean, Yoda is a philosophical master who speaks in sort of grammatically incorrect English. So I'm gonna reference another master who speaks grammatically incorrect English, and Mr. Miyagi, he said it best, man, right? Either karate do yes or karate do no. Karate do guess so, squish like grape. And I think that's what Luke was sort of imparting to him. You can do the training or you can go on and live your life. You can't do both because you're not going to be able to get the training done.
Yeah.
If you have this attachment. So
okay. Now, going to what you were going to pronounce as the other part of the question, what do you think Grogu's going to decide? Do you think he's going to grab the lightsaber? Which, it's weird because apparently the lightsaber was destroyed by Darth Vader, but apparently it's back, so I don't know if that's a canon issue. But we'll see how they explain that, because apparently it was destroyed. But is he going to choose the lightsaber? Or is he going to choose the Mandalorian chainmail? What do you think?
Mandalorian season 3 comes out later this year, so that's the answer, right?
Yeah.
Like we aren't seeing Mandalorian season 3 without Grogu. So I think that's the choice he makes. We'll see how it develops from there. But as a dad, I think it's the wrong choice. I think you're making the wrong choice, Grogu. I mean, you got to see, you got to dare to be great, man. So put everything into it. But that's what I think. I think he's gonna join forces with Mando, and I think that'll be the turning point, because they kind of look screwed right now.
To be honest with you, I think you are 100% right. I think how this is going to play out is Grogu's going to pick the armor, and then Luke is going to fly him back to Tatooine.
Yeah.
He's going to fly back during a time where essentially Mando and the rest of the team are getting literally shot at, pinned, and cornered. Then you see Luke come in. Yeah, then you see Luke come in and wreak havoc with Ahsoka. And then you'll see Grogu pop up in his chainmail, and then it's going to be a rallying point like the Two Towers. It's just going to be crazy. So I think that's how it's going to happen. It'd be cool. It'd be really cool if Luke temporarily lended Yoda's lightsaber to Grogu, but I know he's had zero training, so he would just kill himself at that point because it'd just be misuse.
Maybe Din Djarin gives Grogu the Darksaber.
Or you get an Ahsoka with her 2 lightsabers, Luke with his lightsaber, and Din Djarin with the dark saber. And they're just fighting on screen and just doing their thing, and he finally mastered, or at least gets the hang of the lightsaber where it's not heavy anymore.
Or isn't completely incompetent with it. I do love that they... Like, I know it didn't really show up in this episode, but in previous episodes and in the previous seasons, I love the balance that they can strike with Din Djarin, that he's so cool, but also so laughably incompetent sometimes at some of the things that he does. Like, he's so bad with that dark saber, but I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. And they play it off as, you know, he's trying, he's just not good, but they don't make him look, he still kind of looks cool doing it, which is a real tough line to dance. So I'm really happy that they continue with that he's still, you know, he's not the realized version of himself either yet.
And so I think that training scene with the armorer, it makes sense. She's essentially telling him that you're trying. Yeah, that's great. You're trying, but you're trying in the wrong way. You're trying to go against the blade. How about you let the blade wield you? Then
work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, so
another lesson wasted on youth.
So it's crazy the learning lessons that you'll be getting from the show, right? But it's just like, she's right. You can tell by his movements that he's trying to fight the blade. He's trying to force the blade to cut things.
Instead of letting the blade do the work.
Yeah, you let the blade, you essentially, you become water.
Yes.
You flow like water. You don't fight it, you just let it flow. And for him, I think he's going to have to learn that, and I think he's going to learn that when he sees Grogu in danger.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. I love the armor. I hope that's not the last we see of her. She's one of my favorite characters.
It pissed me off where she's like, okay, you're not part of us anymore.
I love that. I love that because it's, you know.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. But it just pissed me off. I'm like, I want to see more of you. Why do you have to do that? Now I'm not going to see you till probably season 3.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Oh, I was so choked. So choked. Moving on, though.
Yeah.
You want to go to the cantina scene?
Yes. Oh, they did my girl Garza dirty, man.
Oh, I was the second they left, I was like, no, please don't kill her. Please don't kill her. Please don't kill her.
Do this.
Don't kill the band. They've been there since episode what is it? Episode like 3, maybe 4. Like, don't kill the band. Oh man. But yeah, unfortunately, the Pike Syndicate wanted to send out a message.
Boy, did they ever.
And they definitely sent a message.
Yeah. Shouts to my girl Jennifer Beals, man.
Man.
Did her dirty.
I really hope.
They even asked her.
I really hope she's in a back to tank. I hope she's in a back to tank getting healed. But do you think we're going to see more of those style of like hit tactics from the Pike Syndicate in this next episode?
I think so. I think they're ready to stake their claim. So, yeah, you know what? The one thing that they're ready to stake their claim. They look like a ruthless team, and they're going to start using their numbers, right? They're going to start sort of dealing with any sort of any semblance of resistance, because you saw that spice trade, that little chest of spice that Cobb Vanth so heroically kicked over and allowed to mix in with the sand. They said it's worth more than that entire town.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of money to be made on Tatooine for the Pike Syndicate. So, it's time for them to start flexing their muscle. And this was step 1. And if this is step 1, it's going to be interesting to see where step 2, 3, 4, and 5 are. So
moving on from the cantina scene, because it was very unfortunate, we go to another cantina scene where you see Din Djarin talking to Cobb Vanth.
Yes.
Now, I thought that was a very cool scene. First off, the marshal's deputy, of course he's flexing his muscle. Hey, you can't park there.
Yeah, you can't park there.
Absolutely hilarious. I instantly knew that the marshal was going to come out and be like, I got this. Go back inside.
Yeah.
That part started amazing. It was great. And then seeing their interaction, it was good to see them back together again.
It was. Like I said in previous podcasts, I really liked the character of Cobb Vanth. I was really hoping to see him again. Yeah, and he was right. Like, we're square, and and we freed you, helped us free this town. We have no further obligation to you. We, and they both raised good points, right? And it's that micro versus macro thing, right? Where it's like, look, that's a city problem. We have no issue, but then Din Djarin correctly points out that, hey, if the city falls, you're next.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be in a significantly weaker position to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I like that. The one thing that was a bit of a drawback for me, and it wasn't through anything with the scene, is seeing the two of them together and seeing their sort of rapport, and then also knowing that they're trying to gather some muscle for this upcoming war.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a perfect spot to slide Cara Dune in, which we know isn't going to happen.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. That would have been a perfect time to slide her back in. Maybe even just send her a hologram, send her a message.
Yeah,
right.
It'd
just
be nice
mention her by message.
Yeah, like I said, I like the character of Cara Dune.
Me too.
The outside of the show situation is what it is. Yeah, at least give us an explanation why Cara Dune's not around, right? Give us something. But yeah, that was the only drawback, and again, that has nothing to do with the show. That's a personal feeling towards characters I've sort of grown to enjoy, so and want to see back.
One thing that I also thought was kind of a miss was there's a bunch of other bounty hunters that have been featured and shown and followed in the Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Star Wars Rebels, all those. Why aren't you getting any of them to come in?
My girl Aura Singh.
Right? If like this episode already was a cameo heaven episode. Let's be real here. This episode was cameo central. Why not just send in 15 more cameos? Let's be real here.
And maybe that's why, because I knew Cad Bane because you've talked about him, and through just peripheral stuff. Like, I used to collect the Star Wars digital card games, so I just through osmosis, I understood how important Cad Bane was. But if I'm someone who only watches the big stuff, if I've only watched Mandalorian and I've only watched the movies, the theatrical stuff, I have no idea who Cad Bane is. And I don't really know who Ahsoka Tano is, right? Until Mando Season 2. And then if you throw 4 or 5 more people, it's like, well, I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, here's hoping, because they're all cool characters. I'd love to see Aura Singh. But, and like you said, they need muscle. So why not get other bounty hunters? They have Black Chrysanthemum, right? They have Boba, so they've got Din Djarin. Go with what you know, right? And what they know is bounty hunters. So,
you have the money. You have more than amount of money. Get all the bounty hunters on your side. Get all of them. Because if you don't, guess what? They're going over to the Pike Syndicate side. Yeah, let's be real here. So you better use that money to get them on your side. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah. You need more than the Star Wars Power Rangers, man. So you need more than those 5 kids.
Oh, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about this episode before we wrap this episode up?
No. I enjoyed it. The show's starting to really pick up. So I've enjoyed the entire series, but I can understand where people are coming from that had some of the criticism around the show. But I've thoroughly enjoyed the series so far, and this was just another in the long line of episodes I've enjoyed. So
no, I have to agree with you. The first episode kind of threw me off a little bit, because it was just odd pacing here and there. But the second episode onward just blew me out of the water. The nostalgia of these last 2 episodes have been absolutely amazing. So honestly, I'm very, very much looking forward to the season finale next week.
Are you sure that it's the season finale? Because that's episode
7. I've been hearing from everyone that it's the season finale next week.
That's
I'm like,
weird for them to end on
me.
7 episodes. I always thought it was 8.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, to be honest, I hope it's not the season finale and I'm just hearing wrong things. If you're listening to this, well, I guess you'll be listening to this next week on Wednesday when... Actually, no, I'm going to post this as soon as possible. I'll post this as soon as possible. So I'll probably post this sometime tomorrow during the day. Okay.
Yeah, we'll move away from our Wednesday release schedule during this time just because it makes more sense.
You just post it right away. But yeah, if you know that the next episode on the upcoming Wednesday is not the final, please let us know, because right now I've been seeing things everywhere that it's the final episode for the season, which kind of sucks because I was hoping it'd be 10 episodes.
Yeah,
at least 8. You know,
if it ends in one episode, I mean, it's definitely ending on a cliffhanger because they have too many loose ends to tie up right now.
It's also that last episode's gonna be over an hour long. Let's be real here.
Yeah,
it's gonna be over an hour long.
Yeah.
So, out of 1 to 10, what do you rate this episode and the series so far?
The series, I'm gonna give. Let's give it a 7. I'm gonna give the series a 7. And I'm gonna give this episode a 7.5. I did like this episode. I liked episode 5 better.
Okay. Yeah, understandable.
But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It was a good one. And yeah, anytime we see Mando and Grogu, we're good. What about yourself?
I have to agree with you. I think the series so far is a 7, if not maybe 7.5.
Okay.
This episode was around a 7 for me. I think that I wish we had a little bit more of the, let's say, more cameo side of things, and less of the Luke side of things.
Okay.
Because that's the only thing that threw me off was the Luke, right? Because like you said, it's like watching a high school basketball game and having Michael Jordan play on one of the teams.
Yeah,
like you said, it's great for the first one, but it's just after a while, you're like, it's Michael Jordan dunking on kids.
Well, and it's not just Jordan, right? It's 87 Jordan, which also kind of pulls you away because it's like, there's a little bit too much of a suspension of disbelief that has to happen with that because, we know that not only is the character not make sense, but that's the person who plays that character doesn't make sense in a real world perspective. Yeah. So,
but hey, timeline wise, it makes sense, right? But other than that, overall, I think this is a great series. I cannot wait to see Mando season 3. I really do hope that they do Mando in the beginning of the year and then Book of Boba on the second half of the year, and they go back and forth for how many seasons it goes. So you're always getting 2 seasons a year for this. I think it'd be great. That'd be awesome to have.
I think that's the perfect cadence for it.
Awesome.
1 season of each a year, but that means we're getting 2 seasons a year. Yeah, which would be fantastic.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Also, there's other Star Wars TV shows coming out too, so we'll be getting a lot more Star Wars TV coming up. But until then, like, this is very good at where it's at. I think that the fact that they have Dave Filoni and a bunch of other people is great. Absolutely great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, did you want to move on to Peacemaker now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Perfect. All right. Moving on to episode 6 of Peacemaker. So this started, well, I guess last episode ended off on a cliffhanger. Yeah,
they've done that. Pretty much every episode has ended on quite the cliffhanger. So they've nailed that so far.
When the episode started, did you think it was going to start like that?
No. So, good on them to sort of get that right out of the way that, hey, you know what, he's a butterfly, but he's on your side. So immediately they say, like, it's not subterfuge. He's not, like, everybody's aware of it. Immediately jumped on, Harcourt is there. And, so that they immediately went to, we know he is, we know Mern's a butterfly. So let's move on with what we have to, where we go from here now, right? Adebayo now knows that Mern is a butterfly, but he's on our side. So let's go.
I thought that he was going to kill her.
I
thought he was going to kill her. I was like, so we're seeing one of the cast members die off, and one of the big ones too, because
that's Waller's daughter.
That's Waller's daughter. And I was like, okay, if he kills her, that means Waller's coming into the series.
Yeah.
Not just as a phone call. Yeah. And she's going to wreak havoc. I'm like, okay, but that didn't happen. And I'm glad that didn't happen. So it's also very interesting to see that essentially the whole team knows except for
Peacemaker and
Vigilante. Essentially the whole team knows. Yeah. And it's Economos knows, but he covers his ears the whole time and just denies it. That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious.
Like, he literally does that, which is funny.
Yeah. So I thought how they explained that was cool. I thought how Mern, is it Mern or Morn?
It's Mern.
Mern. I like how Mern just explained it, like, okay, this is the whole backstory, blah 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 blah. Okay, let's get on with it. Let's just get on with it.
Because they had a lot of stuff to get through in this episode.
They had a lot. So first off, Harcourt, I'm in love with her. Beautiful. Oh,
she's awesome, and you know what?
She kicks ass, dude.
She's an ass kicker.
Fuck, she kicks ass.
Yeah,
I'm terrified of her.
Yeah,
like that bar scene where she beat up those guys. I'm like,
yeah,
oh god, that's crazy stuff. That is some crazy stuff right there. But going to the story, okay, his dad, he's called the White Dragon, right?
The White Dragon, yeah.
So he's a white supremacist.
Yes.
Called the White Dragon.
Yep.
Who got out of jail.
Yeah. Just the literal worst person on the planet.
Worst person on the planet. Got one of his white supremacist girl members to essentially just blow him and then put on his White Dragon suit.
Yeah.
First off, that White Dragon suit is fire.
It looks absolutely kick-ass.
It's actually like...
It does.
It looks really freaking cool. Unfortunately, it is a white supremacist outfit. But it looks wicked sweet. Don't get me wrong. For a comic book...
It does.
It looks really wicked sweet.
Yeah.
I want to see, though, what kind of gadgets and powers he has. Because let's be honest here. Peacemaker, what makes him good is... not only that he kills things, right? He's very skillful, whatever else. But his helmet has a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to see what gadgets he has.
Well, and
let's be real.
It's one of those things, right? It's he may have taught Peacemaker everything Peacemaker knows, but he didn't teach him everything he knows, right? Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. It was funny because I was trying to write a quick synopsis of my thoughts of this episode, and I came up with 2 words.
Okay. They're
screwed.
Yeah.
Because you look, White Dragon's coming for Peacemaker, and just, that scene when Goff, who's now Sophie, right?
Yep.
Those butterflies, when they all came out, I was like, oh, they're so screwed.
At first, I thought she was calling for backup to help Peacemaker, and then I realized, like, no, he's dead. No. He's done. He's absolutely so screwed. Done.
Yeah.
He's so screwed.
Yeah.
So essentially, like, Detective Song is now Butterfly. The whole detective and police.
Goff. Not just the butterfly. Goff, the leader.
Yeah. The whole detective, and police department, plus all the prisoners, and essentially anyone else are all butterflies.
Yeah.
They're screwed.
And they just convinced the world that Peacemaker is the most wanted person on the planet now. So
he's screwed.
Yeah. They're screwed.
First off, what was one thing you liked?
Yeah. What
was one thing you didn't like? And then we'll go on from there.
Okay. So what did I like? Who's it was a little thing. I love the entire episode, but what I love most about the show is a lot of times there'll just be a little thing in there, and it's just like, oh man, that's hilarious. And the funny thing that I liked in this episode was when I'm forgetting the name of that the captain, the one who works with, I think it's Locke.
Okay, yeah.
The one who works with Mern, right? Mm-hmm. Before he got butterflied himself, when he saved Peacemaker. Before he killed those 3 people, just a little, please no, where he was like mocking someone who was begging for their life.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you're already going to kill them. You don't need to be a dick about it.
That's so funny.
And you're already going to blank. You don't need to be a dick about it is something I say about 4 times an episode during this show. So it's just those little things I love about this show. I love that it doesn't take the superhero genre too seriously. So that's why I loved it. The one thing I don't like, I didn't see it too much in this episode because it just seems like Peacemaker, the character, is he's developing a little bit as we go. But there is a line where that, and this has been something that's been sort of symptomatic with John Cena for about a decade now,
Okay.
is there is a line where you go from a character saying something funny, and then when you cross it, it's an actor who knows they're delivering a joke. And a lot of times Cena does kind of cross that where he kind of says it in a way where almost at the end of it, it's like, ta-da, this is my joke, right? As opposed to being just something that a character would say, that it happens to be funny. He's sort of, you know that he in his heart is delivering a joke, and he's delivering it with a little bit too much oomph. Like he knows this is going to be funny.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas, so that's the only thing that I've seen that, and there it happens less and less, but it still happens every now and then where it's kind of like, yeah, this is me being funny, right? Versus Peacemaker saying something funny.
Okay.
So,
and I absolutely agree with you, because you saw The Rock be like that as well.
The Rock was like a little bit like that.
Yeah, but now he's getting a lot better with it.
Yep.
Right. His character is a little bit more like taking and delivering those lines instead of him himself, which I appreciate. Yeah. But before, when he first started acting, it was The Rock saying it. Let's be real here. It was The Rock saying it.
Yeah.
So I think more down the line, when John Cena gets more experience with all this stuff, I think there will be a certain point where you no longer see John Cena.
Yeah, you see his character. Yeah.
You see his character.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to do that. It's just I actually did not mean to. I'm like, oh wait, look at that.
There it is.
But so that was your good and your bad.
Yeah.
My good and my bad was I actually really liked the Justice League cameo. Asking about Wonder Woman, asking about Flash, and he just like rattling off, just like, first off, he called them something stupid when they raised their hand.
Oh, the nicknames for that he gave to those children was
absolutely the best. Absolutely the best.
Yeah.
So it's because this show made me forget that this is part of DC.
Yes.
Like I'm like, wait, hold up. There's the Justice League. There's like the Suicide Squad. There's all that stuff. I'm like, this is a big threat now. Are we gonna see a cameo? And like that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, at the end, I'm like, this is a big ass, like this is a Justice League level threat.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. This is alien invasion. This is something that Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, The Flash. This is a Justice League level threat, and you have Peacemaker, Vigilante, and the rest of the group.
Yeah.
The world is fucked. The world is fucked.
You know what this episode showed me, or what I took away from this episode more than anything, and it's unrelated to the show itself, is that the success of DC going forward as a sort of movie property and a movie rights franchise is going to absolutely depend on how they stick the landing when it comes to folding Peacemaker into this universe.
Oh,
because if they can get a way, like, because the Guardians sort of seamlessly moved into the Avengers world, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is a little bit easier because the Guardians aren't quite as over the top silly as Peacemaker is, and the Avengers aren't quite as dark and as serious and as brooding as Batman is. So for you, how they nail Peacemaker meeting Batman and Peacemaker meeting Wonder Woman, and how successful that works is going to differentiate DC over Marvel. As a kid who was a comic book fan in the late 90s, I always liked DC over Marvel. I always say that, and the one reason why is they always nailed adult-oriented characters better than Marvel. And now that all of those kids and those comic book geeks have grown up to become adults, and that sort of the world of the industry of making comic book properties for adults is a profitable venture now. That's the world they've got to live in. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fold Peacemaker. He's a star. Peacemaker is an absolute linchpin for the DC universe now. He's more important to DC than Drax or Rocket Raccoon or Gamora or Star-Lord is to the Marvel universe. That is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see that. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
No,
but
all
just,
good. All good.
Yeah,
I
that's-
like going off of your point. I also see that when it comes to DC, I think they're going to get a lot more success with the TV series if they make their big properties into a big TV series instead of an
Okay.
actual movie.
Okay.
Because it
Just
gives them
flesh out.
time to grow and to
Yeah.
sow seeds. Where in a movie, it's kind of a one-shot kind of deal. Like,
Yeah.
if that one movie does bad, there's not going to be a second one. But with the
Yeah.
TV series, if the pilot goes bad, you still have the rest of the season, or at least half the season, to make up for it, right?
Yeah.
And you get more watch time. You get to grow with the character. You get to build a better bond. And I think from there, it'd be good if they did TV series for everybody, and then they moved up to a movie as a finale. Where for Marvel, it'd be everyone gets their own movie, then into big ensemble movie. But for DC, it might be better if they just gave everyone their own TV show, and then an ensemble
rolled it
movie
up.
or
Yeah.
ensemble TV show or something like that, right?
It's really going to be interesting, and we've talked about this before, where we've always said that DC can't go into this trying to out Marvel. They've got to
Oh yeah,
look at what their strengths are, and truthfully, nabbing James Gunn, Peacemaker is one of their strengths. Peacemaker is one of their strengths. Suicide Squad is one of their strengths. So, keep working with that. Yeah, the episode was awesome. Like, I'm just trying to think back to other moments, like even just little things, like when Sophie got taken over by the butterfly, and then she just sort of comments, "Oh yeah, I forgot how weird it is to try to smile every time I take on a new body."
Yeah.
And then you saw them like all coming out, and they're all smiling, and they all
So
look
creepy.
really dumb.
So creepy.
Because they've all sort of missed the mark
Yep.
on to varying degrees as to how this new body smiles. It was just, yeah, they nail all those sort of I don't want to say little idiosyncrasies, because it's obviously a big joke,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, they've definitely sort of nailed that joke, but yeah, they've just nailed all those sort of unnecessary to the plot but really memorable moments.
Just like Cena playing a piano.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that.
Like
He's
overall,
sad.
I thought like this episode was great. The one thing that I didn't really like was, it's just, I wish we saw more action in this one.
Okay.
That's the only thing. I wish we saw a little bit more action. It makes sense that like Peacemaker and Vigilante are so stupid with each other.
Oh, I love the chemistry that Vigilante
It
and
totally
and
makes
Peacemaker have
sense.
with each other. Yeah,
Totally makes sense.
That's 100% the way Goff would get away.
Yeah, 100%.
That he would tape him to his leg, and he would fall, and the glass would break while Vigilante and Peacemaker are having the stupidest argument at the worst possible time.
But if you also think about it, like, I understand why Goth went for the detective, but also, you think he just went straight for Peacemaker or for Vigilante?
That's a good question.
Because
That's
like,
a good question.
sure, he might have
Is
made
it
a
peace?
bond with Peacemaker because, whatever, fed
But they're
him, this
trying to
and
kill
that,
him. So,
peace sign,
Yeah.
whatever. But
yeah,
I'm
I
like,
don't buy any of that.
let's be real here. You would have went straight for Peacemaker or Vigilante,
I wonder if he's scared. Like, he just thought, oh, they killed.
or maybe just plot armor.
Yeah, possibly plot armor. I mean, definitely a fair question. Did they have guns? Because would they have killed? Because I mean, they know what Goff is, right? Whereas
Yeah.
Sophie was kind of caught off guard because nobody expects a butterfly to try to fly into your mouth and eat your
Yeah.
brain. So
That was actually that was pretty graphic.
that was the first time we saw it, and it was
That was
really
pretty graphic. Oh, let's be real here. That was that looked so that essentially someone is gonna grab a drill and hollow out your head,
Yeah,
and you're
that
still
looked
alive while it
gross.
happens.
So
Oh,
yeah, it looked gross. So yeah. You know what the one thing was that kind of confused me is I thought that Locke, when the butterflies came, I thought he locked the door because he was a butterfly.
I thought that too, but apparently
And then-
not.
Yeah, and then I thought that because I thought it looked my first initial thought was a butterfly went into his mouth, and because it looked a little bit more violent than the other ones, I thought maybe they were fighting in his brain.
I thought another butterfly was gonna be thrown out or
Be thrown
something,
out. That's what
right?
I thought. Yeah, but maybe I guess he was just on their side the way that the rest of the group is.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I for sure thought it was a butterfly. Sure thought it was a butterfly. Oh man, okay. What do you rate this episode?
I'm gonna give this episode a 9.5. This is the best single serving episode of a television show that I have seen. I'm gonna say
more than the last episode where they raided that compound.
Yes.
Wow.
I like this episode. You know what I like more about this episode is I think it's because the ending was such a, oh, they are so screwed.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like the somehow they topped the cliffhanger of, hey, you know, our leader, he's one of them. They somehow topped that with this one. So I think that's why I have it as that. What about yourself?
I would have to rate this like an 8.
Okay.
This is like a really good episode. It's really sad that I rated this episode higher than Boba episode 6. But the only reason why is because like you said, this is an oh shit moment.
Yeah.
Of course, there was an oh shit moment too with Boba at the very end, but this was like,
yeah.
Is Peacemaker actually going to live after this?
Well, because the other part of it, right, is that it's like, the Pike Syndicate, they're getting ready, they're gearing up, they're flexing their muscle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Boba. It's Fennec Shand.
They're going to live.
It's Din Djarin.
Yeah, they're going to live. This one, we don't know if they're going to live. It's DC.
And Peacemaker and Vigilante are idiots.
Yeah.
So...
as long as Harkov doesn't die, I'm okay. But it's just like this show, it's a lot more up in the air. It's just like, I don't know if these characters are going to make it or not.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you rate this series so far? Because I know we did that for Book of Boba.
Overall,
yeah.
So the episode was like an 8. I think overall, the series is like a 7.5.
Okay.
The only reason why was sometimes, like you said, the jokes kind of fall off a little bit. I like how wacky it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% different than all the other DC TV shows out there, like Arrow, Flash, DC Legends or something like that, Supergirl, all that stuff. I love how it's so different. I think this is the best DC TV show that has ever come out.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
I absolutely believe that. And like you said, I think if DC makes the right decisions, Peacemaker is going to be the glue to the franchise.
I think so.
He will be the Iron Man, quote unquote Iron Man, to start a new phase.
He's the ace in the hole. We know, like, that's the thing, right? Is like, as much as we love Batman, there's only so many Batman stories you can tell at this point. We know Batman, we know Superman, we know Wonder Woman. So you've got your big 3. How do we fold Peacemaker into this? Because he's a star.
Oh yeah.
So,
and who would have thought that John Cena would be the essential glue for this?
Yeah, who would have thought that? Yeah, who would have thought that Jort's wearing orange T-shirt, having goofball is going to be the guy who saves the DC movie universe?
Oh man, who knew? I didn't see it coming.
No, me neither.
Pun intended.
But yeah. We had talked about sort of when we did the DC. What was that event called where they had a bunch of, we discussed it on a previous podcast.
The DC event.
Fandomonium?
Fandom. DC Fandom.
DC Fandom, when they had the Fandom, when they had that, and I had said that the thing I was most excited about was actually Peacemaker. I'm glad that they nailed that.
Yes, because this could have flopped.
Yep.
This 100% could have flopped. And I think it succeeded not only because of John Cena, but also all of the supporting cast. Everybody in the show is actually amazing.
They're awesome. I love Vigilante.
Vigilante's awesome.
He's so ridiculous, right? He's so ridiculous. So
him and his poor pinky toe.
Yep. Yeah. Why would you? Yeah, he's the best. He's awesome.
Also, that scene with his pinky toe was kind of
so gross.
Just pulling nails, man. I was like,
yeah,
like just get it over with. Like,
I love as he's like, why would you not maintain your torture devices?
Oh, it's just so bad.
Yeah,
it's so good. Yeah, no, like Vigilante is a special character, and I think him and Peacemaker, like you said, they're an amazing duo.
Yeah.
Amazing duo.
When Vigilante and White Dragon met up in the jail cell, that was
nice.
That was amazing. That was a great scene too.
It's very scary to see Vigilante when he's mad like that.
Yeah.
Because he's like capable of doing Batman shit.
Yeah.
Like,
but he looks like bones. A dork.
Yeah. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, because in my opinion, he can go toe to toe with Peacemaker, and Peacemaker's like twice his size.
Yeah,
Jacked
exactly.
as shit.
Yeah, no, did you know that the actor who plays Vigilante, he was in Harry Potter?
For real?
Yeah, I don't know. I just pulled up his IMDb because I was like, he looks familiar. I know him from Pitch Perfect. That's where I know him from. But I don't know. Do you know the character Cormac McLagan?
Hold up. Let me see here. I have IMDb up.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, while you talk about that, the glue, I mean, and we've seen it because he's proven it before. James Gunn, what a stroke of genius to grab James Gunn to helm this franchise. Because you've seen what happens if you put Suicide Squad in the hands of maybe not the best people.
Yeah.
Because the first iteration wasn't great, and then now you see it in the hands of James Gunn. Because he's proven he can take a ragtag group of super people who, are a little rough around the edges and, make magic with it. So
I recognize him now. Okay, yeah, I recognize him.
Yeah,
he had blonde hair.
Yeah, he was the DJ in Pitch Perfect. So
damn, look at him now. He's a superhero.
Yeah,
he's a damn superhero.
Yeah. So let me ask you maybe to wrap this one up.
Okay.
Who won the week? Who had a better showing? Book of Boba Fett versus Peacemaker. And then because we are sort of into episode 6 now, who's winning?
Series wise.
Series wise.
So first off, episode wise, and series wise.
And then series wise.
Episode wise, I think Boba is winning.
Okay.
Series wise, Peacemaker is definitely winning. That's my opinion. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree on one and I disagree with the other. I think this was the best episode of Peacemaker so far.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Boba Fett. Peacemaker's been eye-opening for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think Peacemaker won both the week and is winning the head-to-head. I love that it's not a head-to-head, and we can definitely watch and enjoy both.
Yeah.
But if we are going to put them head-to-head, I have been enjoying Peacemaker more, which actually kind of surprises me. But
me too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm on the same boat with you, but it's a very good surprise.
Yeah, I'm thrilled with it. I can't. I really hope that that they move forward. I mean, there's no way that they're not going to, but I hope that it sticks around and that they do more with these characters. So
Me too. Overall, though, I don't know how many episodes are left for Peacemaker, but let's hope that there's at least like 2 more episodes.
I think there's 2 more.
At least 2 more. I really hope that Boba is going to 8 and not to 7 episodes.
Yeah, me too.
But we'll see.
I can't see them wrapping up the season with 1 episode left. We've only just started to see the Pike Syndicate, who are supposed to be the villains. So
I don't know. Honestly, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong too.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I guess we'll find out when Wednesday hits. So
yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about, or you want to wrap this one up?
Yeah, no, let's wrap it up. I mean, just a very enjoyable 2 episodes of shows. So,
all right, perfect. Well, anyways, Coastal Buddy, where can people find you?
You can find me at Coast Dynasty on Instagram. That is COASTDY Nasty.
Perfect. And you can find me on Instagram at Caramel Thunder, Caramel with 2 L's. You can find both of us on Instagram at the Unhinged Vibes on Instagram. Also, make sure if you following us on YouTube, make sure you do. If you haven't yet, make sure you do. Make sure you subscribe. Please like our videos and please send us a comment. That's going to help us in our growth. Also, as well, follow us on your podcast provider as well. That's going to help us grow. Other than that, folks, we hope you enjoyed this week of TV and movies because there's a lot more to come. There's a lot more exciting things. Guess what? We have the new Lord of the Rings coming out. We got Halo coming out. We got so many new stuff coming out. We're going to be watching those as a team and reviewing them. So make sure you stay tuned. Other than that, folks, I'm glad that you're listening in. If you made it here, thank you for coming by. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.